If y'all looking for some nice Christmas gifts for yourself or other people who got some brown stained teeth from drinking coffee or a fupa from eating too much, get some of this Lucida toothpaste or some of this sea moss to put down in your tea and your coffee to help you out. It'll help you get a man and look better in the new year. Drop down in the description box. Click this link to purchase these fine products.
Y'all, I never thought in a million years that I would be saying that I like the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City better than I do the Real House of Atlanta, at least so far. But I never ever thought that I would be looking at an all-white franchise of Housewives and have to say to y'all, of all the people on there, I dislike the black lady the most. He hates black women. Want to talk about it? Here you go. Nessa girl, I just got through watching the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. It's 6:25 in the morning. I'm bringing y'all this video because I got a whole lot to do today. And I want to make sure I get y'all squared away before I get going with what I got to do. And it saddens me to say that Mary boils my blood from the pits of my bone marrow. I just don't understand why she don't get it. And I'm going to be the first person to say that I think a large part of me is double triggered. And I might even be holding Mary to a more critical standard because of her standing in the church. Is it me, or am I wrong for feeling like somebody who is people's spiritual leader should be the most compassionate, most understanding, most patient, most apologetic person on the earth? You Jesus' secretary. You supposed to be the hotline to the main line, and I'm sorry, based on Mary's actions, she is not somebody that I would go to and get any kind of spiritual anything from. Now, don't get me wrong. Jen ass is not much better. Jen seems to be hell-bent on being mad about whatever the hell it is she's mad about. And it has got to be deeper than this hospital comment. Like, no shade. When Mary got down, it was like, you know, Jen is jealous of me basically because I'm black and I got more than her. And in their mind, the black person should not be as fabulous as I am. We as black people, we have all on one level or another experienced that. I know I have, especially as I begin to ascend financially and other things. I've walked into spaces and you can feel the air of people of other races and cultures feeling like, who does this Negro think he is, and who is he to have what it is he have? I felt that before, very recent. I'll tell y'all about that story later. But nevertheless, the episode opens up with Jen doing her whole open up exercise and she goes talking. Here's the thing. Mary paints this picture as if Jen is extremely triggered by her. But she is extremely triggered by Jen. And I'm extremely triggered because Mary reminds me of a friend, an ex-friend I have in my life that completely lacks self-awareness. Mary is unaware of how her rebuttals and actions make people respond. Jen ain't no angel, but she's sitting there giving her truth. You know, I say things that some of y'all are thinking. I would never say the things that you are thinking. Damn, let the lady finish talking. And then after Jen left, Mary kicked her out and she came back in and Heather was trying to break it down. Jen goes, I did the exercise you asked us to do. Oh, but I didn't know I wasn't able to respond. Bitch, why would you, why? You're not. And the thing that bothers me the most is, why do you feel it is so prudent for you to respond? Let the woman say her piece. And as far as I'm concerned, I literally do blame this breakdown on Mary. For the simple fact that when the lady said, you said it smelled like hospital and it hurt my feelings, instead of you being a fucking dick and being like, Oh, but it did. A simple, you know what, girl, I'm so sorry, that was not my intention. That's all it would have taken to make this go away. So the thing that's bothering me is that now Mary wants to sit at the table crying, saying that she's hurt because Jen offered up Meredith an apology, but didn't offer her one. And it's like, damn, you're now expecting of Jen the very thing that your ass was incapable of doing. And then after y'all beat the dead horse for about 40 damn minutes at the damn party that Jen threw, you finally were like, come on, girl, get in here, give me a hug, I'm sorry. And you weren't sorry. So I'm just not understanding how you're requiring something of someone that you're unable to give. Now, the thing that's throwing me the most with Mary is that I do think there's a human being in there somewhere, because then out of nowhere she has these bouts of tears. And I don't think that there's sympathy tears. I do think she's hurt somewhere. I think that Mary has this extra hard exterior, this unapologetic exterior, because of her weird ass upbringing and the wall she's had to put up dealing with the fact that she's a granddaddy fucker. You know what I'm saying? And when Jen said it, so here's the thing about it, right? You did marry your granddaddy and you are a granddaddy fucker. That's what you're up there doing. You're laying up fucking your step granddaddy. Now, like a blooming onion from the damn Outback Steakhouse, we try to make it better by peeling off layers. Well, he wasn't my blood granddaddy, but this. We peel it back and make it better. But the reality of the situation is this shit is weird as fuck. It's incestuous as hell, and to any reasonable person, it is nasty and it is wrong. And Mary strikes me as somebody who is very intelligent, and she knows that. And she knows that behind all the glitz and glam or whatever, that is still the scarlet letter that she wears. It is nasty. It's nasty. And I want to know what in the entire hell was going through your grandmother's mind that she would put some nasty shit like that in her will. Let's just call a thing a thing. You know, I'm at a point now where I'm ready for the world to take 2 steps backwards. I think the worst thing that's ever happened to society is we got this very laissez-faire attitude and everything is about, well, it may not work for me, but to each its own. To each its own. If it worked for them. Bullshit. We need to get back to a point in this country where we start drawing a line in the sand and saying right is right and wrong is wrong. I do not understand how your grandmother laid in the bed, laid it low and spread it wide, and was aware that one day that she would die, and while that man was on top of her, huffing and puffing, that she would one day will your puss off to him. I don't understand it. It's nasty. It's nasty. And don't tell me what they do in other cultures. I'm all for the arranged situation to keep the wealth in the family, but not if it's incestuous. It's just nasty. And you cannot tell me that Mary does not feel the weight of all of that. When that lady sprayed her like that and tried to taint her marriage or something nasty, that's why Mary started crying when she was there with Heather. She said, listen, I know it's weird. It's weird. It took me 2 years to do it. Yeah, it did. I'm sure it did. And then after it took you 2 years, it took you 2 weeks to hunch his ass. And that was nasty. And the fact that you got a son with somebody that you once called grandpa, that shit is nasty. It's not weird, bitch. It's nasty. Okay? Miss Johnson if you're nasty. That, not nasty. Nasty, bitch. N-O-S-T-Y. Nasty, bitch. It is nasty. It is. And you talk about you pray and you pray and you pray and you pray and God made you comfortable. No, you pray. Prayer didn't make you comfortable. Prada made you comfortable, bitch. You ain't fooling me. You ain't fooling me. You looked at the lesser of the 2 evils and you was like, you know what? You gonna get paid for your pain. And I'm not mad with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad with it. Life can be miserable as hell and full of scandal. If you're gonna be miserable and scandal, at least be in Prada and pleats, Gucci and gold. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, honey. Jen calls Mary out about that 7-Eleven comment. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. That was the final straw that broke the camel's back for me with Mary. I wasn't there to hear her say it, but I believe every single word. I believe every single word that Jen said in reference to Mary. And here's the game. I ain't never been to Salt Lake City. I ain't been nowhere in the general vicinity of Utah. But there is nothing about Salt Lake City that strikes me as they got a dangerous black part. Now, we as fellow black people, and I'm having some kitchen talk, there are certain hoods that we won't even go to because it's rough. But for Mary to say to another person outside of the community that if there's black people outside, she won't go in, that hurt. That hurt. And I'm going to tell you, this conversation that I'm having right now is why I was never a fan of the interracial housewife cast. Because no matter how you slice it and dice it, the conversation and the conflict is always going to come back to race. And living in a Black Lives Matter, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, post-Donald Trump world, more race division is the last thing we need, especially from within. Mary, you said it. You said it, and you didn't even deny saying it. Then you tried to clean it up by saying hospitals and convenience stores. No, bitch, you don't have a problem going into convenience stores because you told Jay you go to another 7-Eleven. You have a problem going to ones that look like they're predominantly black. That is some bullshit. Especially considering the fact that not majority of the people who are devout church goers, and I'm not trying to offend anybody. Please, I'm not trying to offend nobody. But the overwhelming population of people who are super devout churchgoers, they tend to be poor. And you can look it up. There's a direct correlation between socioeconomic status and church attendance. That being said, you scared of the very people that patronize your church and keep you rich. I feel a way about it. I feel a way about you better than everybody else, Negroes. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the nerve to sit your ass up here in the midst of all these white women that say some shit like that and further perpetuate those negative stereotypes that impact our people. Mary Cosby, I'm just not here for you, and you need to do better, and you so godly. You so godly. It's people like you and Kim Burrell why people, young people, do not fuck with the black church. Heather was saying that, Heather's daughters were saying, you know, we don't want to go to the church. Those people are so judgy. Girl, it ain't the Mormon church. Welcome to the black church too. I don't fuck with it either, Heather daughter. Fuck them people at that damn church. And they tacky dressing ass pastor. Heather said her ex still provides. Yes, God, honey. Now, let me tell you something. All you rappers and you ballers out there, y'all need to take a lesson out of Heather book. Heather said, bitch, despite the fact that she grew her business to a $40 million spa business, when her and her husband got divorced, he was adamant about her being able to be a full-time mom without their daughter skipping a goddamn beat. They still provide. Yes, God. Heather may not be able to carry her ass down to the church, but he still provide. Heather might not have her no man, but he still provide. Heather might be excommunicated from the Mormon people and from the birthday parties, but what, girl? He still provide. And you know what, baby? The fact that he still provide, that's all that matter. Okay! Girl, you got enough money to find another church and another God that'll still provide, okay? Fuck them people down in that damn church, baby. Matter of fact, I tell you what you do. Heather, you have your people email me at funky.neva@funky.neva.com and send me them people Facebook page and they phone them. I call that there and get them hoes together. I know what the fuck to say to them bitches. Them hoes to be calling on John, Abraham, and every other historical figure in the Bible after I finish giving their ass a cussing in the name of Latter-day Saints. Trying to do you. Don't y'all do Heather. I love her. She my favorite one on this damn show. Team Heather all the way. Seth lands with Meredith. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Meredith just do not want Seth. And Seth really wants this marriage to work. But I'm going to tell you something that Seth does that I do not like. Seth tries his damnedest to put pressure on Meredith and manipulate her. And I think that is part of what is bothering her. And it's coming off very weak from Seth's perspective. First, you were trying to get Meredith's phone. Then it was like, you need to move. Then I hate when people do this ultimatum love. Well, look, it isn't the person you love more important than the location. If you love me, you pack up and move. Don't do that because your marriage is already on the rocks. It's apparent that, you know, love don't live here anymore. And Meredith said, bitch, I'm not packing up and moving to no goddamn Ohio. And I'm going to tell you something. You know, a part of me wanted to run with, oh, she really fed up and tired of his ass and ready to leave. And yes, I do believe that. But when you also hear the story, Meredith says, I uproot my life every couple years and this family because your ass have to move. I'm not doing it anymore. I don't blame her. I don't blame her. I honestly don't blame her. That lady said, I got a great damn life in Salt Lake City. Me and the pool boy I'm fucking. Okay, I got a business. I got a house. Like, we can keep doing this commute thing. And it's funny because you can tell that Seth and Meredith are trying to figure it out. But I'm going to tell you something. I think Meredith got 1 foot and 4 toes in the divorce pool and got 1 pinky toe still left in, I'm still wearing his name. And she only still wearing that name because they holding on to 20-something years. 20-something years! I think Meredith is ready to go. And when Seth packed up and was like, you know, you need to figure things out and I think maybe that life might be without me. And she says, I don't disagree. Oh, that's a nice, nasty way of telling the bitch I do agree. She said, I don't disagree. I knew it was done then. I still think she loved him and she told him, I want you to know I still love you, but I don't want to be married to you anymore. And I'm here to tell you, you know what? Y'all can still be friends. I think that because there is so much love in between y'all that those two can transition into a situation where they are best friends. The love is there. It's not like somebody cheated. It's not like this where, I don't know, because the rumor's still out. Meredith, I ain't gonna lie, I think somebody playing in Meredith's legs, in between her legs and in her butt in Salt Lake City, but she just doing a very good job at hiding it because women do that. I definitely think emotionally Meredith has checked out that marriage, and it did feel bad to see Seth cry, but I do respect the fact that he was willing to give her space and not pressure her any further in that moment. It's just sad, but what I do like about it is that it's real life. It's real life. And there are people in earshot of my voice right now that are going through the same thing. I never forget I had a friend who had a mom and an aunt, matter of fact, that told the story about Gladys Knight's Neither One of Us Want to Be the First to Say Goodbye. And it was a summer that she played that song Into the Ground, and we were just all singing and thinking it was what it was. And the reality of the situation is that's what she was going through. Neither one of us wants to be the first to say goodbye. I think that's what Meredith and Seth are going through, and that this separation is more than likely going to end in them getting a divorce. I just hope it's amicable, peaceful, and they can move on and live their best lives because life is too damn short. Mary crying to her husband. You know, on one token, Mary was saying she don't care, but then she started crying, which led me to believe that you do care. I already talked about that hard exterior. I think there's a soft, broken little girl up under all of that, and all that hard exterior and that I don't care and that rudeness is really a defense mechanism, as it is with most people. You had Jen talking to her husband, Sharif. I like Sharif a lot because he's very level-headed and he seems to ground Jen when she's not on drinks and coffee and probably pills and everything else that the rich white women do. See, what it is that stuff in her lips don't got in her bloodstream, and it caused her to act like the Incredible Hulk. Dear white women, if you put that shit in your lips, I guarantee you it will go to your brain. Please see Jen Shaw and Kim Zolciak Bierman. Stay away from that shit in your lips. Whatever it is they call it, it may be FDA approved, but God do not like it, and it make you crazy. Lisa's son's party. It was a cute little party. And Lisa made her comment about she really loves her husband and doesn't have to provide services in order to get gifts. Nothing there. Whitney trying to save her daddy. You know, I looked at Whitney and I've been in family situations before where I've been the only person to help somebody through a situation. And I'm here to say that that is a lot on somebody. And especially a child, because, you know, that's not the way things are supposed to be. The children taking care of the parents, at least this early. It's a lot, but I commend and respect Whitney because she seems to be taking this on with style and grace, and she don't complain. It's beautiful. It really looks as if, and for those of you guys who have dealt with family members who've had addiction, oftentimes they end up hurting people so much that the whole family just writes them off and has nothing to do with them. It looks as if Whitney is all her dad has left after his fall from grace. You know, he was a multi-millionaire, lost his business, lost everything as a result of his addiction, and he is battling this. Shouts out to Whitney for sticking by her dad and trying to get him through it, because I know it is not easy. When Whitney was there doing jujitsu with her brother, you know, you could tell that the brother was almost very over it, coupled with the fact that that's not his real dad, that's his dad from a blended family. He's like, you know what, to be honest, the universe is giving me an out and I really don't have to deal with this. Like, yeah, I love him to a degree, but that ain't my damn daddy. It's very weird when you start dealing with tough times in blended relationships, because people do have a very easy out. You know what I'm saying? And I love the fact that he loves Whitney enough to support Whitney, and he seemed like he was open to it. He seemed like a very cool guy, actually. He looked like somebody that I would love to grab a beer with if he allowed to drink beer. I don't know the rules of all the Mormon or if he in it or not, but that was really cute. Mary sits down with Heather, talk about carbonation clogs your ovaries. It must clog your damn brains. Black people, I'm here to tell you, and me and my daddy had a falling out about this. We have this thing in the black community where we talk about soda and all that acid. Remember that? That soda with all that acid. Or remember when you saw somebody who had that stuff on their skin and black people, that's from drinking all that soda. That's from drinking all that acid. Lo and behold, telling somebody to stop drinking soda when they had a fungal infection on their fucking skin. That's number one. Number two, soda is not acid. It's carbonated water. Carbonation, oxygen. It is water with compressed oxygen in it. It's the same thing as you drinking a Perrier water and then pouring some juice in it. That equals soda. Carbonated water is not bad for you. As a matter of fact, I don't drink still water. It's very hard for me to drink regular water. I drink the flavored carbonated water. Again, it is water with air infused in it. That's what makes it bubble. It's not acid, okay? Drinking a soda, and then, you know, some of y'all think y'all doing something. I don't drink soda, but you get a fruit punch or a juice. Drinking a fruit punch and a juice is just as bad as drinking a soda. It's the sugar that makes it bad, not the bubbles. So please don't look ignorant in public talking about acid and the acid and the bubbles. It's oxygen pushed through water. When you know better, do better. And there's still some of y'all that's going to still argue me down and choose to be ignorant as fuck and ghetto. And you know what? Have at it. I can't help you little ignorant, stupid, projected ghetto bitches. Just trying to give you what I know. Mary goes on to say that she's done with Jen. To be honest, I feel like they need to be. This is one of those situations where boundaries are beginning to be crossed. And it really does suck. It really does suck. It really does suck, because for y'all both to be women of color. And I don't know, let me ask y'all this question. Do y'all think that Jen is jealous of Mary in some facet? Listen to me carefully. And I'm not saying this to be offensive. I personally don't think Jen has a reason to be jealous of Mary. For whatever it's worth, and this is not my ideal, I'm reiterating society's ideals. Jen is got money and she is exotic. Mary got money and Mary is African American. Per these stupid ass, colorist, racist ass ideals of America, Jen is a notch or two above Mary racially, okay? And I don't agree. I'm just laying it out there. So I don't necessarily see Jen, especially considering that Mary can't go nowhere, Jen can't go buy nothing, Jen can't buy and have access to anything Jen don't have access to. I don't see why Jen would necessarily be jealous of Mary. Maybe she is. I don't know, but I would like to know y'all's opinion on it. Now, Mary also made this whole thing about, you know, this whole alpha female thing, and Jen's just mad because she can't be at the top. Now, I definitely can see some of that. Because Mary won't acquiesce to Jen, she feels away, and they're bumping head because they're both striving to be queen bee of the situation. But here's the thing, and here is why Mary has to be careful with her anti-black rhetoric and trying to separate herself from blacks. Because just like you started crying with your husband and was saying, and they all were over there, I feel like the odd man out, that's exactly what you're going to be amongst a group of white women. That's exactly what you're going to be with a group of white women. So no tea, no shade. If you're trying to really fit in with these girls, it probably is best that you figure out a way to mend fences with Jen, because they're always going to side with the person that's most palatable and relatable to them, and that is Jen. They've got more in common with Jen. Although Jen can straddle the fence and be racially ambiguous, she gives off more white woman air than she does that of a black woman, and that's just true tea. Despite taking black dick with them big lips in between her legs and in her butt and God knows wherever else she put it, that got her all swollen and fluffed up and holding water. Somebody get her a water pill. Nessa girl, y'all be sure to like and subscribe. I'm finna get in here and figure out what else I'm gonna talk to y'all about before I have to get ready for filming. And I'll call y'all later. Bye.